Recently, on a Microsoft/Ubisoft Direct live stream thing, they announced Tango Games' newest project. The developer best known for The Evil Within and Ghostwire are now making this. Iron Man Armored Adventure the game. Hi-Fi Rush is actually a game made by people that actually knows how to make a video games. I genuinely think the philosophy behind this game is the word fun. Every aspect of the game just gives off the vibe that makes you think like, holy sh**, this game is fun. The early 2000 cartoon inspired graphics and aesthetic, fun. The character, fun. The joke is actually pretty funny.
A rope snare? What are you? Cartoon character?
The gameplay? Fun! It's the fucking best part about the game. The boss fight, straight cash. The music fucking slaps. The platforming, fun! Yeah, they kinda miss on this one. I mean, it's not that bad. It's not that fun either. It's just platforming. It still amazes me that Tango Games deadass dropped this out of nowhere. Like, they released the game just hours after it was announced. No built-up hype, no trailers 5 fucking years before the game was released, no marketing, complete shadow drop, and it becomes a Game of the Year contender and fucking outsold Forspoken. Just goes to show you, if you actually made a good video game, people are going to buy it. Speaking of good, like I said earlier, the best part of this game is the gameplay. Essentially, through a complicated turns of events... wait, actually let me just have Chai explain what happens.
If I'm getting this right... First, music player in my chest. I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to be there. Second, it's powering up my new robot arm. Third, it's making everything sync up with the beat. And this sounds ridiculous.
So yeah, everything in this game is in rhythm with the music, including your attack, the enemy attacks, and the fucking environments. That includes props like trees, rocks, and also the platform. Though the game doesn't punish you for landing your attacks off rhythm because the attack always lands on beat. But the game does encourage you to land it on beat to increase your score and ranks at the end of the fight. It also encourages you by the fact that landing combo after combo on beat is just so fucking satisfying. Since the enemy attacks also lands on beat, it's also a lot easier to parry them and dodge them. There's also this mini game where you have to parry or dodge attack in the same sequence of rhythm, and if you hit all of them, you can do a death blow and instantly kill the enemy. To even extend the combat further, there's upgrades you can buy, from just buying new combos and special attacks, to adding chip slot to Chai to further min-max your passive abilities in combat. Wait, Chai? Like the chai tea? Yes! In fact, all of the characters are named after food. Well, all except for Rekka, Zanzo, Corsica, Roxanne Vandalay, and the voice robot NPC. Well, yeah, I guess not all of them are based on food. In any case, Chai is our protagonist that we follow throughout the story. He is a wannabe rock star that signs up to Project Armstrong to get his arm replaced with a robotic arm, in hopes of it turning him into an actual rock star. Only for a garbage collecting robotic arm to be attached to his arm instead. Based on that description, you might assume that Chai is a bit of an idiot. Well, you're right. Chai is an absolute dumbass.
Okay. Remind me to ask you later how you did all that.
Like I know.
He's just like me, for real. He is an actual dense motherfucker with a surprisingly big heart.
I'm here, baby.
Who are you talking to?
Personally, I really like Chai. I did not find his personality and banter annoying at all. Actually, the banter, the jokes, and the quips are probably like my favorite part of his character.
Looks like we found our AI.
This is a screensaver, Chai.
Because of an error when attaching his robot arm, there's
Music player in my chest.
Chai is labeled a defect and being actively hunted down to be just straight up killed.
Is that a weapon?
I don't think so.
I think he's resisting.
Unlike me, Chai actually has the will to live, so he decided to say fuck it and go escape Vandalay campus and beat up a bunch of robots along the way. With his magnetic garbage-picking tongues, Chai can pick up a bunch of scrap metal and turn it into a flying V guitar built out of scrap metal to beat up robots. Like, oh, come on, you gotta admit this is cool. Personally though, my favorite is the red and black nondescript Explorer guitar. Even with a really cool weapon, Chai can't escape on his own because, as we established earlier, he's a dumbass, so he's gonna need all the help he can get. That's where Pepper 808, the best fucking game cat ever. Essentially, 808 is your partner in combat, acting like a visual metronome during heated encounters. She's also there just to be adorable on cutscene. Also, 808 is actually named after the Roland TR 808 drum machine, and her in-game sound effects is all pulled from this drum machine, which is, I think, is pretty neat fact. Wait, why is your 808 dressed as Pepper? Never mind that. Anyway, Peppermint. She, as described by Cinnamon, is
Unsympathetic? Hot-headed? You don't even know me.
You are only proving me correct.
leading to a lot of back and forth bickering between her stubbornness and Chai's laid-back, dumbass personality, when her careful plan doesn't go accordingly because of Chai.
I have to rethink my whole plan.
There was a plan?
What?
I genuinely really love the chemistry and interaction between the both of them. In the beginning, their bickering was a tad bit hostile.
Not even an apology, Chai?
For getting the job done?
Are you that dumb? Now they know me. No, you're not acting alone.
But as they work together more and get to know each other, they begin to tolerate each other more. It feels more like a brother and sister talking shit to each other, knowing at the end of the day they still both care for one another. And that's precisely what happens in my second favorite gaming moments this year. The first one is from this game too, by the way. In the you know scene, where Peppermint poured all of her pent up anger against Kale and told her backstory of who she actually is.
I wanted to be my own person. I ran away from my family when I shouldn't have. Kale didn't develop all that technology. I know this because this leg, my mom made it for me.
Your mom has a competing robotic limb company.
No, Chai. My mom is Roxanne Vandalay.
What?
Which makes Kale my brother.
For once, Chai actually used some capacity of his brain and said this.
I know what you probably think. You think
Who cares? Did you think we wouldn't talk to you anymore? We got this far because of you. We're all here because of you.
yeah,
And I'm here fighting because of what you found and what you're trying to stop.
Your brother doesn't define who you are.
And this doesn't change anything.
really?
It only gives us a stronger reason to fight. As friends.
Man, they both are so fucking wholesome together. I love their dynamic. I love it. I love this fucking game so much.
You know, I really wanted to say that crash in the party line since we got here. But it's okay. You can have it.
All right.
Since we're talking about late game stuff, might as well talk about the rest of the team. The third member to join our team, well, technically fourth, because 808. So the fourth member is, of course, our therapy robot, Cinnamon. Cinnamon is this psych AI Macron created where he can only tell the truth no matter how painful it is. Cinnamon is pretty much here as a pure comic relief character.
This is surprisingly entertaining.
The other characters crack jokes and make funny bits, but they also have a character development arc. As to Cinnamon, his character barely develops.
What the fuck was that?
But it's not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion. It's just a different character archetypes for a different purpose. And I thoroughly enjoy Cinnamon's interaction with the others.
What a nice robot friend you made there.
What? No, he made fun of my pants.
Who cares? Ugh.
I, for one, Mr. Chai, like your pants.
Weird timing, but thank you, Cinnamon. Way to blow it, Peppermint.
Mr. Chai, we all make mistakes, especially you.
Though maybe that's because I love dumb stupid jokes and puns like Chai. And the fifth and definitely the final member that would join our team is Macaron. He is pretty much the gentle giant with a tad bit of anger issues character archetype.
I was thinking of a non-violent solution.
Against those robots that just tried to kill me?
Oh.
Where he is the kind of guy who wouldn't even dare to hurt a fly, but absolutely would beat the shit out of Gale Vandalai if he sees him. He is pretty much my least favorite character out of the group, so I really have little to say about him. I mean, I don't hate him or anything, it's just out of all the really stellar and well-written character, he's the least that I like, that's all. Also, Macron is actually the guy who leaked info about Spectra to Peppermint. Let's talk more about this boss fight, shall we? Because they are fucking amazing. It really harkens back to the PS2 game style boss fight, where the boss fight kinda have their own gimmicks and ways to defeat them, making them really unique from each other. And honestly, all of the boss fights is fucking amazing. The first boss fight we fight is the QA boss. This boss is such a fun fight. It's one of those giant bosses where you need to wait for its hand to slam down and then attack his hand, dodge his attacks, and then repeat. Man, this actually just brings me back to the PS2 days. There used to be so many bosses formatted like this. The combination of dodging attacks and attacking on rhythm makes this outdated boss design fun again. It's just amazing. The second boss and our first passkey holder is Rekka, the head of production. This boss fight is enjoyable, but it's definitely on the weaker side because it's just a bit too simple, and I get that it's simple, probably because it's an early boss design to ease the player into the mechanics. Despite that, this boss fight absolutely has a fantastic presentation. Rekka is literally a reference to the gruff wrestler type thing, so presentation is built into her DNA. Also, like the streamer mode song that plays during this boss fight slaps so hard. The third boss and our next passkey holder is...
Sure. Anyway, who's this guy?
That's the head of R&D, Zonzo. He runs the whole branch from the AI labs.
Which means I'll probably run into him. He looks insane.
And before you ask, yes!
This is a JoJo reference!
Zanzo deadass just straight up JoJo pose whenever he's on screen. I'm not even joking, when he's on screen, he's at least referencing one JoJo pose, so it's so fun. I might be biased here because JoJo is my favorite series of all time, but I fucking love Zanzo so much, man. His character is just so fun to listen. His boss fight doesn't have a boss fight necessarily, is more of like a gauntlet that you have to run through. Sometimes it can feel a bit of a slog, especially on like repeated playthroughs, on your second or third playthroughs, it can feel a bit of a slog. But the banter between Zanzo and the character during the gauntlets just makes it 10 times more fun. The thing about the gift basket especially, dude, that was so funny.
The gift basket!
Guys?
Now, Corsica. Corsica is the head of security. Corsica, as described by Cinnamon, is...
Let's see. Hardworking, demanding, lack of humor. All the perfect qualities of a boss.
God damn, Tango Games was absolutely cooking when they designed Corsica. Like, sheesh! On top of that banger design, she has a fucking Scottish accent, dude.
Oi! Oi! Did you fall asleep again?
Waifu with a squeaky lolly face, I sleep. Tomboy waifu with a fucking Scottish accent, real shit. Actual best waifu contender here. And she's not even from an anime. She has a really cool fucking boss fight too. Her boss fight consists of that rhythm dodging and parry minigame that I mentioned earlier. Even with only that, her boss fight is probably one of the best boss fight in the game, simply by just how satisfying it is to complete that minigame. And the added convo between the characters in that sequence is also fantastic.
Or are you just too oblivious to figure that
Oh,
out?
come on!
That's it. Now I'm mad.
That interaction is probably my favorite joke slash Chai's bruh moment in this game. And her awesomeness doesn't just stop there. She actually got fired by Kale for investigating Spectra on her own and decided to join our team to destroy Spectra.
Fired? Oh, should have used the flamethrower. Better, well, there's always next time.
Oh yeah, and one more funny detail. Korsica doesn't have a physical passkey like the other. She decided to memorize her password. Later on, when the gang finally gets into Spectra and inserted all the boss passkey, turns out Korsica's password is literally just password, all caps. And she's the fucking head of security. Bruh. As for Mimosa and Rockford, I don't really have anything to say much about them. Mimosa's boss fight was just kinda alright. It's mostly just presentation and pretty lights. And Rockford's boss fight is pretty good, so I'm just gonna talk about them both briefly here. For Mimosa, she's this self-centered, narcissistic bitch that uses the marketing budget to do festival and shows to stroke her own ego. So, pretty much your average white woman. Her boss fight is probably my least favorite boss fight in the game because she's a flying type enemy and I hate fighting airborne enemies in this game. Although her stage is pretty good, I really like the museum and it's where the Peppermint backstory scene happened. As for Rockford, he's pretty much a goblin in charge of the money in Vandalay Corporation. Also earlier when I said he's a furry, I kinda really meant that in a literal sense. This boss fight was pretty tight. I like how the boss fight kinda ends differently too. Instead of Chai defeating them like the other bosses, Rockford instead gets defeated by his own hubris buried in the giant pile of gold. Pretty neat. And the next boss is the final big bad of the series, Kale Vandalay. Can I just say that Kale is such a treat to see whenever he's on screen. He's not like this bumbling idiot that just acts almighty. He's actually quite smart and competent. He's always just gives off the energy of a man, I'm too fucking tired for this shit. He's just so unbelievably corporate that it's just fun to see his interaction with the bubbling idiot that is Chai.
I won't let you build an army of mindless Vandalay soldiers.
What are you talking about? That's not my plan.
I'm proud to be a member of the Vandalay family.
So I would never say that. Well, that's the point. I'm controlling.
The voice performance by Sonic is also fucking fantastic. Actually, everyone on the cast did a fantastic job voicing their role. Can we get some claps for voice actor, please? This boss fight is fucking insane, by the way. It has 3 phases where it included all of the mechanics from the game, like parry, assist, the rhythm dodging minigame, some QTE, and we even play as 808 for a bit to save Chai. This boss fight almost echoes Ishin Ashina's boss fight in Sekiro. In terms of that, Ishin is the final test of skill in Sekiro, where all of your skill and knowledge of the game mechanics that you learn up to that point is absolutely tested to the max. Kill is pretty much the same here. It's fucking good. When I was writing the script, I was expecting to maybe have around 1,000 words written, but it ended up being 3,000 words. I guess I just have a lot more to say about the game. This game, and I cannot stress this enough, is something special made with love. As someone on the Steam review pointed out, it's an actual video game. Like, bro, like it's a fully functioning video game. It's well written, has funny humor, awesome gameplay, no microtransaction bullshit, and to top it all off, the game has a lot of heart. This scene right here is my favorite scene in the game. It also is my favorite scene of gaming so far in 2023. This game is absolutely deserving of Game of the Year nomination for 2023. And I don't even fucking care what AAA story-driven games came out this year, because this game for me brings the word fun back to video games.
I don't need a guitar. I am a rock star.
I thought you said you didn't need a guitar.
Yeah, but this is much cooler.